All right, let's get to State Senator Amanda Chase. Amanda running for governor, for the Republican nomination for governor. That's going to be decided in an unassembled convention. I have no idea what the date is. Maybe Amanda can tell us, but we'll see what happens there. Amanda Chase, a state senator, Republican from Chesterfield. Amanda's also this candidate for governor. She has 150,000 followers on Facebook. They deplatformed her and silenced her last week so she can't communicate on that platform with her voters. And here's the statement I put out, Amanda, and I'm going to, without reading it, I'm just going to paraphrase it. Look, I don't agree with every position you have, Amanda, nor do I agree or condone with everything you say or every position you have. But I will fight to the death for your right to say it. And when we've got a gubernatorial candidate getting silenced in her major platform where she communicates with her voters, going into the General Assembly session and going into a primary campaign, if that doesn't send chills up everybody's spine, because today it's Amanda Chase, tomorrow it's any politician they don't agree with. I mean, this to me, is the outrage of all outrages. I mean, as bad as Trump is Amanda, because she has something to say. She's got to be able to communicate with her voters, and they've silenced her on that. And today it's Amanda Chase, I'm telling you, and tomorrow you. And for the people on Facebook and other platforms who don't like Amanda, who has reveled in this, tomorrow it will be you. Amanda, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for giving me a voice this morning. I appreciate it.
Go ahead. I was really upset by the fact that Facebook made an arbitrary decision to take your feed down, to take your site down for 60 days, right at the beginning of the General Assembly session. And what are your options here?
Well, the good news is there is no good news. The good news is that thanks to you and other folks who are on other radio outlets, they are giving me a voice. I'm still on Twitter. We'll see how much longer, because I will continue to speak the truth. I'm on MeWe, Parler, everything else, and I'm going to be sending out a lot of emails. I've already sent out 4 or 5 just today. So, the way people can stay in contact with me is my chaseforva.com website, and all that information of my social media outlets that I'm on still are there. But, here's the frustrating part. Why did I lose access? Why was my page disabled? Was it because I posted something that was outrageous? No, they were actual posts of me scanning the pro-Trump rally where we were peaceful. There were millions of people, and the truth needs to get out there. That where I was, in front of the Washington Monument. This is not over at the Capitol, but it's a peaceful rally where I had video footage, was taken down, was peaceful. It was peaceful. And it really begs the question. They're trying to silence us. They're definitely trying to silence any type of narrative that does not fit into this propaganda that's being set forward by mainstream media. And if you were at that rally, they are considering you an insurrectionist, which is absolutely ludicrous. When you take a look at Maxine Waters, you look at look at Senator Louise Lucas, who participated in Portsmouth whenever that man was killed, when the statue toppled over him. I mean, there are 2 sets of standards, one for them and one for us. I'm all for equal treatment, but not different treatment. And that's what's going on here. And that should terrify all your listeners, because it's no longer America, where we have First Amendment rights and free speech. It's gone. It's completely gone. Mm-hmm. And, we have to fight back. We cannot allow this to happen. I will use every tool I have, whether it's lawsuits, no matter what it is, I will fight this. They have ticked off the wrong person. I will not just roll over and go along to get along. And I think all your listeners know that. If I don't fight this as an elected official, a candidate for governor, a state senator, if they do this to me, what are they going to do to you?
That's exactly it.
This is against the Constitution. And I mean, I don't care if it's a private platform or not. Legislators are not allowed to block constituents' free speech, but it's just, once again, a double standard, and that's got to end. And I want to tell you, John, every last legislator, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, should be furious. They need to be outspoken about this. Whether you agree with me or not, you should be 100% behind free speech, and it's crickets once again.
Amanda Chase with us, State Senator, Chesterfield, Virginia, running for governor. Right now she's the front runner for the Republican nomination, unassembled convention. Amanda, is there a date? Did they come up with a date for that yet?
No, John, and I just received an update that this coming Saturday, there is going to be another meeting of the State Central Committee. John, I am hearing that they are going to have a motion to reconsider whether we go to a primary or a convention. There's going to be a push now for a primary. So I hope to God that happens, because if we are going to truly support our active duty military, we have to give them a voice. We have to allow them to participate in choosing their next governor. We need to put an end to pay to play. We need to let every person vote. We don't have to worry about Democrats voting in our primaries, because it would mean they would forfeit voting in their own
they're not going to vote in our
election.
primary. That has been a red herring argument against conventions from day one, that Democrats vote in our primary. That's like ridiculous. It's like nationwide, it's like 1.5% over 3 decades. It just doesn't happen. They vote in their own primary. We vote in ours. Is there some crossover? Sure. You know, remember when Rush Limbaugh tried to do Operation Chaos, right? It fell flat. We just didn't go and vote in their primaries. Now, I voted in Democratic primaries when there isn't anything going on the Republican side, right? Because I'll vote for the lesser of two evils to me, figuring they're probably going to win. So I've done that. But that's not a bad thing. It's not I'm trying to create chaos. I just vote for whatever candidate I happen to believe in if I don't have anything to do, and there's no Republican primary that day. So that's a red herring. Amanda, what has been some of the reaction from your colleagues, the fact that you got deplatformed from Facebook going into the General Assembly, where you've got 150,000 followers there? Have you gotten any support at all from any of your colleagues?
Not one phone call.
Not one.
Not one.
You know what? It's going to happen to them. That's you said it. I said it's going to happen to them. Let's get to Amy in Fairfax. Amy, you're live.
Yes. As a question for Amanda, assuming that you are the Republican candidate for governor, we have a problem in Virginia that in the last election, anybody who requested an absentee ballot, there was a little box that you checked off that you want all future ballots sent to your home. So how do you overcome all those people who did the mail-in, who are overwhelmingly going to vote Democrat?
Amanda?
So we need to reverse that. I understand that that is the case, and we need to make sure that the State Board of Elections changes that. Now, here's the frustrating part. Well, let me tell you the good part, okay? When I become the next governor of Virginia, currently there are 3 members on your State Board of Election, and currently, because we have a Democratic governor, you have 2 of those representatives who are Democrat and 1 who is a Republican. When I become governor, and I will become governor because we have enough picked up Americans who are going to be voting regardless of party, they want freedom, and they know I'll fight for them and get it. We will have 2 Republicans on there and 1 Democrat, and we will change all of that. We will. You should have to if you request an absentee ballot, it should be for that one single election, unless you check the box to do something else. Maybe we have two boxes. One, I don't like the absentee ballot. I think we should really definitely take a step backward on that whole issue of mail-in ballots, and we need the voter ID back. We need to ensure one person, one vote. We need to make sure that only legal votes count, and we need to put the guardrails back on our elections that were taken off this year by Democrats, by the way. They are the reason that we have the situation we have, where there's lack of voter confidence in the presidential elections. We have accepted election results, good, bad, or indifferent, in years past, but this year is different. And this is what I just get so frustrated with the liberal left and the media, who don't seem to understand why we are so upset. It's not that we're upset with election results in general. We are upset because we do not believe that there was a fair, transparent election that took place, that only legal votes counted. And the mail-in ballots overwhelmed the system. They did that here in Virginia. And I will tell you, while we went into our special session in August, there were a number of guardrails that were taken off Virginia elections. And that was directed at the hands of the Virginia Democrats. And so they are to blame for what we are seeing going on. And this is orchestrated, this whole scheme of eliminating voter ID, absentee ballots, the mail-in ballots not requiring the witness signature.
It just opens it up. It just opens it up for, at best, not having confidence in the integrity of the system. Amanda, I got to get to another call. Thank you. Let's get to Paul in Mechanicsville. Paul, you're on with Amanda Chase.
Hey, thank you, John. Let me turn this stupid sound down.
You got it, bud.
Hey, Amanda.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Amanda, it's Paul in Mechanicsville.
Okay.
How you doing, Paul? Good to hear your voice this morning.
Yeah, same here. Thank you. Just real quick, how prevalent were Dominion voting machines in Virginia? That's one question. And the next is, and I'd like you to get it out there, that if for some reason or another the rhinos in our house were able to sequester you or else whatever to you, you'll still be able to run for governor. Am I right?
Okay, so let's start with the first question there, Paul. First of all, let me just say this. I am going to fully run for governor. I've said that from the beginning. Now, look, if I lose in a fair process, if we have a Republican primary and I lose, which I won't, I'm not going to run as an independent. So let me just be clear on that. I believe that you fight like heck to win your nomination process. And if you lose, and it's a fair, transparent election, then you support the nominee. That's what we do as Republicans. My challenge that I have seen with conventions is they are not always that way. And if there are shenanigans that occur, meaning, they disqualify me, let's say they say, well, she was kicked out of her local GOP, therefore she is not allowed to run for governor. I will run as an independent. I will always be a Republican, but I'm not going to put up with the games that the establishment Republican elite put forward to disenfranchise the grassroots Republicans. I'm not going to put up with that. So just be assured that I have multiple plans to continue to win. Like I said, I will participate in a fair, transparent process. And if I lose, so be it. I support the nominee. But if they cheat, if they start slating, they start blackballing people who sign up to be delegates for me, if they institute unreasonable fees to participate in the process, I will call them out.
All right, so basically, what you're saying, Amanda, is you want a fair and open and transparent nominating process, and you participate in that, and then you're not going to run as an independent. Hey, Paul, thank you. Final caller here for Amanda. Let's get to line 2. Robert in Ashland, you're on with Amanda Chase.
Good morning, Senator. It's wonderful to speak with you. Just in case you don't remember, you and I met over at the Chesterfield County Board of Supervisors meeting when they were calling for when we had the Second Amendment rally. You were standing at the door, and I walked up to you and shook your hand and told you that I voted for you, and I intend to vote for you again under any and all circumstances. Out of curiosity, in the event that we are lucky enough to have you elected as governor of Virginia, in the event that the Democrats decide to take and pass any more erroneous and draconian gun control laws, what can you do to push back beyond simply vetoing the legislation?
Robert, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that question. So I am going on the record. Once I am Virginia's next governor, I will use every tool in my toolbox, including executive orders. In fact, I might set a Guinness Book of World Records for reversing any attack on our constitutional rights that the Democrats have taken away under their leadership. I will take us to the constitutional plumb line, and then I will limit my powers. I do not believe that any governor, Republican, Democrat, whatever, should have any type of unlimited power for more than 30 days before it goes before the General Assembly for a vote. We have a tyrannical governor in place right now. He has unlimited power for unlimited times. We are no longer in a state of emergency. We are under, in my opinion, what looks like socialist control, unlimited. And I want to go back to something Paul from Mechanicsville said. Yes, we do have Dominion voting systems here in Virginia. And I know that there are some who say, well, I'm a Republican, and I personally audited those in those Republican counties. Yeah, but they're doing the corruption is we need to look at Democratic precincts and Democratic registrars. And listen, I'm not an investigator. That is not my job. I'm a legislator. My job is to call for a full audit and investigation. I want to applaud David Gordon with the Virginia Project, who has taken on this tremendous task of auditing and investigating the voter rolls here in Virginia. Why isn't the GOP taking this initiative up? I mean, we're just going to accept this? I mean, the left wants to say to us, prove it. Give us the evidence. Where's your evidence? And I say, I'm not an investigator. That's not my role. But my role is to do what Georgia did. We, the GOP, you need to unite together. Just after we did the last presidential election, where we called for a joint session of House and Senate Republicans and Democrats, the Privileges and Elections Committee met. And there was fraud even back then, 4 years ago. And we were called to have hearings and have the fraud presented before us. I'm calling on Republican leadership. If the Democratic Party is going to ignore the people, then let's have our own press conference. Let's have our own jury. Let's have our own trial. And let's invite our own, let's allow the citizens who have been flooding my emails in my office with phone calls saying my vote didn't count. I went to vote and someone had already cast my vote. There are plenty of people in Virginia who would have signed affidavits that will testify that we have real issues here in Virginia. And I'm very disappointed in the leadership that we haven't done more. And I'm very hopeful that they will hear this call today, that I'm saying we need to unify. We need to stand together. Look, I want to work with everybody in the General Assembly. I don't want to be the lone voice, but I'm frustrated because I feel like everyone is giving the Democratic Party a left. They're being silent. They're being complicit, and we've got to speak up. We've got to unify. We've got to stand together. We have to fight this if we're going to win, if we're even going to have a shot. And we've got to audit the vote.
Look, transparency and the truth is what we need. One more caller for you, Amanda. Richard in Dinwiddie, Virginia. You're on with Amanda Chase.
Yes, good morning. John, I'd like to say that you're an excellent patriot for what you did for us down there in Georgia.
Thank you.
I have a question for Amanda Chase.
Go.
I'm here, ready.
Yes, Amanda. I saw you last year during the 2A up there in Richmond, Virginia. Just have two questions for you. One, is it possible, just like in the electoral votes in the state of Virginia, to have electoral votes in the county so we can get representation? Because the whole state of Virginia is red every time the election goes through. And number two, if that's impossible to do in these cities that's controlling the state of Virginia, moving towards joining West Virginia.
Amanda?
Okay. Yeah, so I have an answer to that. Number one, last year I introduced that very legislation. What that legislation said is very much like they do in Nebraska and Maine, where you have a split electoral college vote for president and vice president, meaning it's not winner take all like it is in Virginia, whereas in presidential years, the winner gets all 13 of our electoral college votes. Nebraska, Maine, it's split. And the question you had, the listener, the caller had, was how can we do that in Virginia? And I've introduced legislation that said we take a look at the popular vote by congressional district. Now, some people have said let's do it by county, but the challenge you have is you have to have equal populations in each of those areas, which is why I've said that we need to go with congressional districts over counties. We need to stop the tail from wagging the dog, which is what's going on where Northern Virginia controls the policy for the entire state of Virginia. I was actually called by former Congressman Bratt and former President Jerry Falwell last year to come and meet with them to talk about the plan to actually allow parts of Southwest Virginia to join in with West Virginia. I know there's a desire, because I spent most of the summer between Northern Virginia and Southwest Virginia. I've been to Southwest Virginia like nine times at this point. And Southwest Virginia feels like their voice isn't being heard.
Yeah, that is really one of the biggest issues is we have two Virginias because you're in Southwest Virginia or you're in Southside. Let's say you're in Danville, or let's say you're in Buchanan, or let's say you're in out towards Bristol,
Abington, yeah.
right? Or no, Salem. Nobody cares what you say. That's the issue. Amanda, I'm out of time. I want to thank Amanda Chase. Amanda, people want to get a hold of you. Where do they go?
So we are encouraging people to go to my website. It's chase4, FORVA.com. Sign up for my newsletter. I'm also still on Twitter right now, which I'm pretty active on right now. It's at Senator Amanda Chase or Amanda Chase VA. I'm on Parler. I'm on Twitter. But if you go to my chase4va.com, we will send you all that information. We're in the process of upgrading all of our platforms. And by the way, John, I actually still have my Chase for Governor Facebook page is still up. I just can't comment on it for 30 days. So we were preparing for this moment. We've been working on this alternate website.
Well, listen, Amanda, what they did to you is unconscionable. As I said when we started, I don't agree with everything you say. I don't condone everything you say. Some things you say I violently disagree with, but it doesn't matter to me. Okay, here's what matters. You're a state senator. You were elected. You're running for governor. You should not be silenced by some tech platform. And we're all saying the same thing today. If you sit idly by and you're saying, oh, isn't that great what happened to Amanda? Tomorrow, guess what? It's going to happen to you or me or any of us. Amanda, thank you for your time.